So this message is going to be kind of controversial, and I probably expect a few people will say I'm wrong in the comments, but if I get that many comments. But isn't this beautiful out here? Just gorgeous. It's springtime, so it's just so beautiful and green. I just did like an hour and a half of four-wheel driving just all over. It's so beautiful. This wilderness area around Flagstaff in Coconino County, it's just beautiful. But this took me about 55 years to learn, and it's kind of really a hard pill to swallow. But especially friends, no one truly loves you except God. No one. It's true. They might feel like they love you because for that 2 or 3 year period where you're really close, you're kind of meeting each other's needs, and you're have similar interests, and you're having a lot of fun together, a lot of laughs, and you might have a friend that feels closer than your brother or closer than your sister, and then one day all of a sudden they're out of your life. Either they switch up on you or they move far away and they don't call. um, because think out of all the contacts in your phone, how many people really call you regularly with a genuine concern of how you're doing? And how many people really want your success? They don't want you, the average person in your life really doesn't want you to do better than them. But if you genuinely love someone, you want them to prosper. You want them to do as well as you can, because they understand that there's enough to go around. There's an abundance. But a lot of people don't really come from that. They come from the opposite mindset that there's only so much to be had. And if you're doing really well and you're making more money and you're succeeding, that there's less room or less items out there for them to grab a hold of and to get for themselves. What would the opposite word of abundance be? I forget. But except for maybe your parents, even your siblings. Some people are lucky enough to have really close siblings as adults that stay close and in touch. But the vast majority of us, your siblings don't even truly love you. The only one that really truly loves you and absolutely wants the best for you is God. And that's a thought that usually takes people a lot of trial and error and a lot of years before they can even really start to approach that concept. But what a valuable thing to learn, because then you start to depend more on yourself and that relationship with God, and you don't really need anyone. After you learn how to depend on yourself and you grow that relationship with your God, you just kind of see that almost everyone is kind of disingenuous. Everyone is kind of real happy when you're having fun together, fair weather friends. But as soon as things turn south, or as soon as maybe you come into a lot of trouble and you mainly want to talk to them about trouble, they're like, I'm out of here. I don't want to listen to that, And then once you start doing better again and you're in a good place, all of a sudden they want to come back. But real love, real genuine affection, and real genuine concern, wanting you to succeed and wanting the absolute best for you, you're not going to bail on a friend just because they come into a a 4 or 5 month period where they're kind of down because they've had to go through something serious, like maybe the death of a parent, or having to file bankruptcy and losing a business that they had invested all their money and time into for an extended period of time. But God is so good and genuinely wants the absolute best for us. So much so that most of the things we pray for, He won't give us, because He knows in the long run that it's not going to work in our favor. A lot of us, the main thing we want is an abundance of money, but look at people that win the lottery. They're almost always really depressed 1, 2, 3 years down the line. And, before they get that lottery lump sum of money, they usually have a fair amount of friends. But after a year or two, I've watched videos on this. After a year or two of having this lump sum of money, I mean, I'm talking like in excess, millions, they get so tired of everyone hitting them up for money. So, it could be a cousin or a friend. If they ask you for money and you say no, they're going to be so angry that they might just ghost you, and bam, you've lost that person. They're out of your life. And if you say yes, let's say they say, gosh, I hate to ask for this amount of money, but you have millions. Could I have 10,000? With 10,000, I could be in such a better place. I could get out from that car loan, and then I'd have an extra 500 a month. I could, maybe have a down payment for a house, okay, sure, here's 10,000. Just wait. It's only going to be, usually with these people say that I've watched videos on, it's only going to be 2 or 3 months before they're coming back and asking for another 10,000. And if you do it again, it's going to be another 3 or 4 months before they come back and ask for another 10. So, and then if other people hear that you're giving Sam 10,000 every 3 months, they're going to be, hey man, I'm not going to ask for 10. All I need is 5. So you end up having everyone ask for your money. And, it's almost better to have no money and have only one friend or no friends than to have an extreme abundance of money where everyone's just expecting you to give them tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know what it is about the human heart that we're not really genuinely able to really deeply care for people and really genuinely want the best for others. I shouldn't make it all about me, but I mean, I had a best friend all 4 years of high school. We were like inseparable, like this. Everywhere we did. We went surfing together. We were on the swim team together, the water polo team. We'd go skiing together in the winters. We just basically did everything. We'd go meet girls together in nightclubs. And then basically his first year after high school, he was only like an hour's drive away, so I'd try to drive down and visit him, and he just totally switched up on me. And then he moved farther away, moved down into San Diego, Mission Beach, and he had a house with like 3 other roommates right on the boardwalk. And they actually had 2 fire pits right on the boardwalk, so they could get both fire pits, and every night they could have a party, basically, because just with those fire pits there, people would stop in off the boardwalk that knew them. Other people would just stop and say, oh, what a great place. You have 2 fire pits right on the boardwalk. Well, come on in, and just they wouldn't even have to call anyone to organize a party. Any night they wanted, they could have fire pits out front and have parties. But man, he had so much disdain for me, and he never told me why. He just would have so much fun with these roommates he had and with people stopping by. and he had no time for me. And yet I'm the guy that came down there alone. Sometimes I'd bring a surfing friend, but usually I'd come down alone and I'd want to visit my brother of 4 years in high school that we experienced everything together. All of those years where you're getting your car, getting your first license, your first car, having your first date, your first girlfriend. We'd go to dances together with our girlfriends. And so we experienced so much together, and then just poof, it was like over. Another friend in my starting in around 23, just we started doing everything together, just like that, going out meeting girls, surfing together, going snowboarding together, long trips for like a week together up to Mammoth, getting a place to stay, like he got access to a condo one time. We'd usually just stay at Motel 6, but just doing everything together. Just one day he actually came to me and said, well, it was kind of started to get abusive, calling me dumbass all of a sudden, all the time. And that went on for like months. And I just kind of thought he must be going through something, And I'd try to call him on it. I'd say, hey, man, I don't appreciate that. Stop calling me that, but he would keep doing it. And then after those 3 or 4 months, he just said, that's it. I don't want to be friends anymore. It's like, you're like breaking up with me? We're not dating. What do you mean you don't want to be friends? It was like, and he couldn't give a reason. It's just, I just want to be out of this relationship. It was like, all right, fine. See you later. Bye. And, that really kind of just broke my heart. But John Hopper, then his brother Cameron Hopper.
Sorry, guys, the camera overheated. And obviously, the opposite of abundance is scarcity. What was I thinking? But I was just starting to go on long-winded about different friends that have switched up on me and just ghosted me, like best friends from childhood. And, but ever since I started learning about narcissism, I know we can't diagnose individuals, but I do have 3 degrees in psychology, two of which are master's degrees, one's a bachelor's of arts. And I worked as a school psychologist for 28 years and like a year and a half of internship. But I mean, I was even a teen advocate answering hotlines at UCLA for teens that are pregnant or drug addicted. So I became a camp counselor at age 12. So I've always been in this line of trying to understand human behavior and trying to help others. But once I really learned what narcissism is and I looked back, it's really like almost all of my best friends have been narcissists. Because I had trust issues, so I'd only want like 1 or 2 good friends. And I would end up attracting to the same type of people. The kids that also had trust issues, that just wanted 1 or 2 good friends to laugh and to get into malicious mischief or whatever. Yeah, then they would just switch up on you or ghost you. So at least 9 out of 10 of my friends in my entire life, and then girlfriends too. At least 9 out of 10 of girls that I've had as girlfriends, in my opinion, if they sat down with a psychologist using the Diagnostic Criteria Manual number 5, they would meet the criteria for NPR, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. So I'm not diagnosing them, but just according to my experience in the field, basically my whole life, and just thinking if they sat down in a psychologist's office and were literally trying to be honest because they wanted help, would they qualify or not? And I'd say the vast majority of friends and family and girlfriends, narcissist. So that's what's tough for someone like me who is born into a narcissistic family. From day one is terribly neglected on purpose to cause an emotional wound there that they can then push certain buttons to get a response out of you. So it's like all hardwired into their cognition about how to, from very young, how to make this person a perfect source of narcissistic fuel for me. So it's so bizarre when you feel the love of God and you realize this is the one true living being and he's coming to me. He's showing me love. There's only one God, and I'm just this little tiny speck of dust, this grain of sand in these sand dunes that go for miles. You know, you're just this tiny, tiny, insignificant entity. And the God, the creator of the universe and the heavens and the earth, is actually giving you one-on-one time, love. Okay, so that's kind of like the beginning. But then you realize that he's so loyal over time, because with our sinful nature and trying to leave a wicked life and try to learn how to be righteous, you're gonna fall, you're gonna have stumbles. But then you start realizing how loyal and how true and how understanding and long-suffering this good God of ours truly is. Because I got to admit, it was even just a few days ago where I was kind of down in the dumps again. I went home to Los Angeles, and that always kind of seems to just break my connection with the good Lord. And I come back feeling weak and depleted, feeling that bond has been broken, and kind of just felt myself saying out loud once or twice, like, you know, this path I'm on of trying to be a humble servant and a Christian and, you know, pray every single day and really watch what I say and never treat anyone inappropriately and do all the other religious activities that I've acquired over the years. And then kind of just like feeling like, man, with all the flack I get from people, all the negative circumstances that have been coming in my life, really, all I get out of it is feelings of warmth and love here and there, you know? And yet my life is falling apart, just totally getting destroyed. The foundations of my house have had bombs set off on them. So my house is not stable. You know, is it worth it to just get destroyed, you know, with like astronomical, the worst things I've ever had happen in my life, happening to me like every 2 months, you know? And just trusting people again just to have the same knife come out and stab me in the back. Trying again to trust, getting stabbed in the back. Trying again to trust, getting stabbed in the back. You get the idea. Just goes on and on and on. It's like, but then, you know, that's always when the good Lord comes back to you. Is when you've had just about enough, you're about ready to break, and you think, I'm throwing in the towel on this Christianity stuff. You know, just a little feeling of love here and there, and just bombs going off all day long. And just no matter where you go, people switching up on you, people hating you. And it's like, but then the good Lord comes back, and you start to feel his love, you know. I mean, even just saying grace over McDonald's, you know, and then you start feeling his presence because you're not praying as much anymore. So he's going to come to you when you are praying. And one time I never stop praying is before I eat my food. And then you feeling like, I'm so sorry I've been neglecting you. I'm so sorry I've been feeling sorry for myself. And then he starts coming back more and more. And then you're right back where you were, just in love, head over heels in love. and you just can't do enough for him, and you feel so bad when you do wrong. But there you have it. That's kind of where I am at in a nutshell. You know, constantly trying to stay on that path, constantly trying to stay consistent, but constantly getting knocked off by this, that, or the other. You know, but I'll never give up the fight, and I hope none of you do. I pray that none of you give up the fight and the struggle, and hopefully you don't have as hard of a struggle as I have at times. Yeah, but it's all good. He'll wipe every tear away, and we'll get to be in his presence for all eternity eventually, God willing. Amen. Leave a hit or like on the comment. Leave a comment, hit like. God bless.